Let's talk about autism. Well, because I have autism, I'm on the spectrum, so I thought I would like to talk about it and share my experience and bust some myths and stereotypes about autism. This video is inspired by a local politician who, in my country, who called autism a mental illness, and I realized that most people agree with him because most people know nothing about autism. Let's be honest. You probably know nothing about it either. So autism is not a mental illness, it's not a cognitive disorder. People with autism can perfectly read, study, have normal lives, achieve things. It's just that our brains are, to put it simply, built differently. We experience the world in different ways, but it doesn't make this experience wrong. So if I share my experience, I have sensory overload, like all the time. I really cannot stand loud sounds, and this is why I absolutely cannot go to bars or nightclubs, because when I meet people, I like having conversation. I like meeting people in some quiet places like parks, for example, to have a meaningful conversation. And when I go to the bar, I just cannot have such conversation. All the sounds, the people talking, loud music, it just feels too overwhelming. When someone talks to me in the bar, I don't even understand what they're saying. I hear the words, I hear their voices, I just cannot comprehend what they're saying. It's all just too overwhelming. I feel like panicking and leaving the place seriously. When I'm outside, I really don't understand what most people say, because it's very loud outside, all these cars. I really hate cars. They don't just irritate me, they actually scare me. The loud sounds scare me. But interestingly enough, when I play my music loudly, well, it kind of calms me. But it's kind of a common thing. When music calms an autistic person, but other loud sounds irritate them. I also hate when somebody turns on the light in another room. When I sit in my room and it's so dark in the apartment, I feel absolutely fine. But when someone turns on the light in another room, weirdly, it irritates me. It really irritates me. I even might start panicking, if that makes sense. But the worst thing is that I constantly feel like everybody freaking judges me, like everyone. Like I cannot go to the hospital, I cannot go visit doctors, because I always feel they're judging me for something, even if there is nothing to judge. I can barely go to teachers. I always feel like I'm stealing their time. I piss them off. When I go to shops, to my favorite bookstore, when I spend more than 15 minutes in a bookstore, I start panicking because I feel like I'm stealing the seller's time. I need to either buy something or run away real quick. So on one hand, I don't want to buy anything. I just want to, check the books. I like the atmosphere. But on the other hand, I feel this urge to just run away, because I really feel like the seller just hates me, because I'm stealing their time. That's how I feel. Of course, that's not true. I'm pretty sure most sellers actually like when, customers spend time in their stores, shops, but I just feel this way. I just feel everyone hates me. When I walk down the street and there are a lot of people, I feel like everybody judges me. When someone next to me talks or laughs, I always feel they're laughing at me for some reason, or talking about me. And when they're talking, and when I feel that they're talking about me, they're never saying anything positive. They're always judging me. Maybe my face is something's wrong with my face, my glasses, my clothes, whatever. So going anywhere turns into some freaking nightmare, seriously. I enjoy listening to music all the time, because especially when I'm outside, 90% of the time I listen to music outside, exactly because when I put on my headphones and play music, it just silences the cars, the people, and I'm like walking in my own world, and I forget that everyone else exists. That's why I freaking love. I listen to like 3 hours of music like every day. That's the best way to avoid sensory overload and general fear and irritation when I'm outside. Another thing is that when I watch some shows or movies, especially animated shows, I get too attached to characters. I start seeing myself in characters. I start associating myself with those characters, and honestly it's pretty good because I start exploring myself and my own problems through the characters. Like my latest obsessions were Hell of a Boss and Has Been Hotel. If you check my channel out, you'll probably find out I make a lot of videos about characters from those shows, especially characters I can relate to. The funny thing is that I can talk about these shows, I can buy merch and discuss online, but when it comes to actually watching those shows, well, I sometimes get a bit embarrassed watching them because I feel the connection to these characters is too personal and I feel too vulnerable watching the shows. Yeah, that's a very strange trait, but that's how I experience it. And another thing is that I easily lose it. I easily get angry, get pissed. I mean, when I have an argument with someone, I can easily start yelling, shouting, even crying, wailing, and it all turns into some horrible panic attack. I can just fall on the ground, start crying and rolling, and it can last for minutes. It's just a simple conversation, a simple argument turns into complete horrible tantrum. It actually happens all the time. I just cannot control myself. It's uncontrollable. It's this uncontrollable, almost primal urge to start, crying and screaming and smashing stuff, and honestly it takes a lot of effort not to smash anything. Yeah, it takes a lot of, mental and physical effort to actually not do anything terrible when I'm, having this meltdown. I imagine things very easily. When I listen to music, I imagine different stories, different situations. When I read books, especially when I read books, I can easily imagine what's going on in the books, and that's why I really love reading. When I read, I just get too excited. Reading makes me more excited than anything else, honestly. When I read, I imagine everything that's going on in the book. When I read fiction or non-fiction, it doesn't matter. I just get completely engrossed by the book. I feel like I'm in the story, and it makes me feel overly excited. Another thing is I often talk to myself or to my posters. I actually have a couple of posters. I can show you. Yes, there. So when sometimes I talk to these posters, well, it's weird, but I talk to posters. It's a way to process my thoughts, my emotion, etc. Like some weird form of therapy. Yeah, that's really weird, but that's what makes me feel good, to be honest. I'm really afraid of meeting people, of talking to people, but once I get to know a person, I don't fear anymore. It gets absolutely comfortable. When there is one person, mind you, when there are more people than one, well, then I feel completely uncomfortable. But with one person, I feel completely fine once I get to know them. So, but anyway, my autism, it doesn't hinder my studying anything. I can talk like a regular person. I can study, read, do all the other stuff. I can debate. I can do anything. It's not some cognitive impairment, as most people probably think. It's not some cognitive disability, as most people probably think. Most people get absolutely flabbergasted when they hear a thing like an autistic scientist or an autistic businessman, businesswoman. They think autism is when you can't talk, you can't do anything, you can't even move in many cases. Like, I watched this film When Evil Works, where there is an autistic kid who can't even move on his own. without using help from his family. And most people think this is how autism works. Well, it's not. Well, it's not. I am autistic, and I just described my experience. So I hope it made you understand what autism is a little bit better. I hope this video was useful for someone. And anyway, thanks for being with me for this, I don't know, 10 minutes less. I don't know, I'm gonna edit this video heavily. So anyway, thanks. And if you would like to hear more interesting stories from me, then subscribe and, leave comments. Let's discuss, autism. Maybe you are autistic too. Anyway, see ya, hopefully. I don't know how to end these videos. I really don't. What do I say? Goodbye.
Been a bit of a bumpy ride, huh?
I've come to realize life